Form ni faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can when I can, while I care for my people.
Modeling,
Oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at CAPUCHIN TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on CAPUCHIN TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ. Hello dear viewer, a very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Form New Faith right here on CAPUCHIN TV with me, Maureen Kimani, and of course my co-host Maggie Maina, where we bring you different conversations from discussions, debate, Bible trivias, and today we're very delighted to have this conversation with you and for the youth. And that is, as you can see down on your screen, that is the conversation about how addiction is affecting businesses, corporate productivity, and economic growth in our country. And I would love to say that among the vibrant youth population, addiction manifests in various forms, including substance. We have excessive gambling and technology dependency. And of course, joining us in the studio, we have a very phenomenal guest here, and Maggie will be taking us over so that we can get to know them, who they are and what they expect in our conversation today. So welcome to you all. Maggie.
Yes, Maureen.
Hi.
Hello.
You look beautiful in red.
You look so good in black, and happy Labor Day.
Yeah, baby, happy Labor Day to you all.
Yeah. And today we're uncovering a very, very interesting topic, a very interesting conversation that is actually a reality on the ground. And I'm so happy because we have specialists, we have youths among us who will be telling us how it is actually on the ground and in the work sector.
Yeah.
And they'll be telling us how addiction makes workplaces less safe. Of course, as you said earlier, how addiction affects the productivity of everyone in the workplaces, not just the victims, but also the colleagues and the corporate society at large. So indeed, karibu sana, our dear viewer, to Form New Faith, where we have conversations for the youth and by the youth. And as I was instructed by my host over here, I should take over the mantle in introducing our very, as she said again, phenomenal guests. Karibuni sana. Yes, I will start with the lady on my right. Kindly introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and which parish you're from, and your area of specialization.
Thank you very much, Maggie, and your host. My name is Veronica. I've been on the show, I've been on the Health Corner show before, sorry. I am a mental health practitioner and also a human resource manager in training, and I'm glad to be here today. Yeah.
Karibu sana. Which parish?
I belong to many parishes, yes, but I have been in Our Lady of Fatima Parish, I've been in St. Mary's Parish, and I've been in Holy Spirit Catholic Church Parish.
Wow, yes. Wow, a tourist.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, so next, kindly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, actually.
Yeah.
I'm Paul Dillon, a podcaster.
Yes.
I'm also a speaker and a counselor. I come from Our Lady of Fatima Rongai.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us.
Asante.
Yes. Finally, the lady in specs.
So my name is Caroline Wanjiru. I'm a counselor by profession. I'm also a public speaker, and I also do a lot of media. Maneno is They call it like that, right? Yes, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for joining us here today.
Yeah.
Now, Maureen, would you love to take us over?
Yeah, very true. But before we begin, actually, I wanted to say, because Ndilo talked about he's a podcaster, so this is another form of podcasting Capuchin TV. And we're glad to have you here. We can't wait to see what you're going to tell our viewers about this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much actually, for that. Being a podcast, but they run a show called Pause Power Pie.
All right.
3 P's. Yeah, so I'm really very glad to get this opportunity to talk to the young people, because most of my topics actually target young people. I mostly target my peers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much to all of you for that introduction. And let's dive into our conversation. And I think we're going to begin with Veronica, because I know you are a mental health practitioner. And as you said, you have had you here in our shows, that is Health Corner Show, and of course now for the first time in the Youth Show. When you talk about addiction, what does it mean to you as a professional, and as we are having these conversations, because so many people think when you talk about addiction, it's just a drug abuse, because I know there are so many forms of addiction. As I mentioned, we have gambling and so many other forms. Could you kindly shed more light about that?
Yes, thank you very much, Maureen. Now, addiction is a mental health condition which is characterized by obsessive and compulsive indulgence in mood-altering chemicals or behaviors, despite non-negative consequences. So when you look at that definition, we have two types of addiction: substance addiction and behavioral addiction. Substance addiction example are drugs and also food. I can see you smiling. Food can be an addiction. Then we also have behavioral addictions. As you mentioned, gambling is a behavioral addiction. Most of us nowadays are on our phones. Maybe we are actually addicted to those phones. Yes, so in a nutshell, that is addiction. Yes.
Okay, and I don't know if Andile, you have any other definition about that?
Yeah, actually I don't have another description about it. You said actually you targeted us about food and all that, you know. Mtu anakula sufuria mzima peke yake. Hiyo ni addiction in one way or the other. Yeah, but by the way, I wouldn't add something about that. She said it all. And I would say that there's something else I had someone tell me the other day. Addiction is cunning. It's cunning in a way. It manipulates you in many different ways, and you don't have an idea about it. It just manipulates you the way it wants. It directs. It's like a remote. It pushes you to where you don't want to do, to what you don't want to do, and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right, Maggie. Yes.
Yeah, so I would just love to go straight to Caroline. What are the major addictions that the youth are facing today? What are the most dominant addictions?
I will say substance use more, and behavior. So you'll find, and especially sex addiction, this is something that people do not talk about it openly. We only know that people are struggling with alcohol, because that's not shameful, unlike maybe sex addiction. Yeah, majorly that. You'll hear people saying openly in a way, and compared to sex addiction, that they have an issue with the alcohol. Okay, so those are the things, especially substance use and also sex. Those are the two things that youth today are struggling with. And maybe just to say a little bit about it, addiction goes back way to maybe genes. All right, I don't know if people know this, but you just say uyu alianza tu kukunywa and that's it, we lost him. But if you dig deeper as addiction counselor, or if you've been an addiction counselor before, you will notice that it's something that runs in the family sometimes. And through that, you find someone, maybe when they try it the first time, they really struggle. For example, when you take, maybe you've taken 2 beers, right? For you, maybe that's enough, you're already feeling out of place and all that. But you find someone who's struggling with addiction, they'll take maybe the 2 beers and they're not drunk. So they have to take 7, 8, 9 for them to feel the same.
Thank you so much, Carol. Maybe Maureen, if you let me just ask Veronica over here, how such addictions affect the productivity of people, not just the youth, in the workplaces. So how does it manifest and how does it affect the productivity?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's quite a question that would take a day, but I'll try to answer it in a very short period of time. Now, we are at work to be productive.
Yeah.
And the only reason companies source employees is for productivity. Now, what is happening with addiction and the workplace is that addiction being a coping mechanism to a lot of people, and some of the people working in stressful situations, they tend to use addiction to cope. Okay? She mentioned about alcoholism. Now, there is a trend in workplaces where you hear employees saying on Fridays, "Huwa tunakutana, we do something," you know. Over time, that can become a person's coping mechanism. So what happens with the people? They start becoming absentees, you know, absenteeism at work.
Yes.
Then we also have low productivity. We have assignments not being submitted in time. We also have an accountability. You know, somebody is an accountant and some money is missing somewhere because, you know, they gambled.
Yeah.
I know such a case that happened in one of our organizations. So addiction does affect organization, and it's notable that the youth is the most productive age group.
Sure.
We're talking about people between around 24 to all the way to around 45. These are the people who are in the workplace, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are the people who are holding the most important roles in these organizations, the roles that actually bring back to the organization. So if these people are in an addiction, just imagine what is happening. Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's a very nice, history and clarification that you have added, Veronica. Thank you very much. I don't know if either one of you have ever had experiences on this addiction at any point. Have you ever experienced such, Ndilo?
So I was working in area sometimes back, like 2 years ago, and one of the things which made me angry about all these things is if when someone comes from a rich family, they are millionaires in a way, but they are in area because they were given a business to run, but they couldn't run that business because instead of waking up to go to job, unaamka kwanza uende ukachape mbili. Unaamka unachapa weed, unaamka unachapa alcohol and stuff. So you end up unajua unadanga pale kukunywa like tuwili, then unasema tungine tuwili twa kunisukuma nifike job. So you end up use tuwili tu twako ulikuwa unachapa tuko jioni, unashangaa kwani kulifika jioni aje. So we have a job waiting for you there, and you just mess it up. So it could be like I would get as a cancer, you shouldn't get emotionally involved, but it could get me like, if I got that opportunity of coming from such a family whereby you run in resources, you run like people run in Nairobi, but still they can't do it because they are druggards, or maybe they are using weed, because that's one of the most common drugs being used by young people right now. They're using weed and alcohol. So you as you said, you absent for job because you chose weed over a job. So I think that's one of the experience I got, and I really, it was acting. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you very much. And I think I can pose a question to you, Carol. Do you feel that addiction can also affect your colleagues and the people you work around in any institution?
Yes, it will, because, for example, maybe you are given a position to work with a colleague who's struggling with addiction, right? And you're supposed to do something in order to, work as a team. That's what I mean. And because someone is addicted to some alcohol or a certain behavior and they're not able to come to work, then you're forced as the other colleague to do what? To finish up their work. And there's a reason why the two of you are given the same assignment, right? And so when you find yourself continuously doing the work of the other person, it gets up to you. Sometimes it will cause a fight because suppose they show up whatever time they want to, right? So you'll find yourself getting irritated and obviously letting them know you can't take it. And as we all know, when you're into addiction, what happens to you is you get irritated very fast. So no one can approach you, okay? And when you approach, you cause fracas over there. So it becomes a fight. And so it's not a safe place to be, honestly. So yeah, it's a problem to co-workers. You can't, I mean, you force other people to do your work, yet you pay the same amount like the others, you know. So yeah, it's a cause of problem, actually.
It's unfair.
Yes.
All right. You smiling. I can see you smiling.
Yeah, and as I was listening to her definition and all that, a question just came to mind that I would love to pose to Veronica. How do we, or where do we draw the line between addiction and laziness?
Thank you very much. Before I even answer you, I want to clarify something so that a person who is out there, who is addicted, doesn't feel like we are pinching them.
Yeah.
You know, addiction is a disease. It is a disease that needs treatment. So if a person discovers they are battling what we are discussing here, they need to seek treatment from professional organizations and professionals. Yes. Back to your question, Maggie. Now, where we draw the line between addiction and laziness, laziness can be one of the signs that a person is an addict, you know, because there lacks a motivation to do something unless they have taken. Recall what he said. They wake up in the morning. They actually call it wake and bake. The weird thing, So they have to bake in the morning. Or they have kutoa lock. For those who drink, nikisema kutoa lock, they know what I mean. So they have to unlock themselves to go to work. So if it is not there, then definitely there will be that sluggishness. They will not be motivated to even go to work. So laziness can come in that manner. But of course, there are people who are not addicted, but they are lazy. Yes. So there is laziness and there is addiction, yes, but also that laziness could be implying that somebody has a problem that also needs to be taken care of. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Nilo, I would just love to ask, how do you think addiction makes workspaces less safer for clients, for co-workers, and for the organization at large?
Yeah, absolutely. A very good question. I'm just thinking about it. I can't imagine going to an office and then find a secretary who is I. So utakuwa unamuuliza anakuambia ile. So lack of communication. So we aren't communicating here. You can imagine also going to buy something from a supermarket and then you find the counter guy is drunk. Yeah, utatusiwa. Utaongeleshwa vibaya, communication, arrogance, and all that. So, absolutely, I think addiction really affects the whole conducive environment in a workplace in very many different ways. You find a boss who is bossy instead of leading people is bossy. So, and as she said, we have also the silent addictions. Someone is addicted by sex. So, absolutely ataanza kukatia, I hope that's the best language. Ataanza kukatia secretary, ataanza kukatia, is eating on everyone out here, and it's really a mess. It's really a mess. Someone is addicted to masturbation. Atakuwa maybe anatakikana kwa a board meeting, atabidi tu atoke kidogo, aende washroom kidogo arudi. So we are making a very important decision here. This person has left. So we have to wait for another, 10 minutes, akuje. Time management, aiko. So at the end of the day, we're going to make losses at this job. We're going to make, we're going to paint our company a different name, which isn't. So I think it really affects it in a very, very devastating way.
All right. That's a very nice clarification and insight that you've been able to shed more light about. And I think I'm going to pose a question to you, Carol, because I know you are a counselor. How do you feel these issues can be, brought to light and you have a conversation and create awareness? Because Ndilo has been talking about different types of addiction. Do you feel that people aren't informed about such a thing like masturbation is an addiction? Do you feel we need to do more, creating awareness?
I feel awareness is already going on, but the major thing right now is people are not accepting the truth, right? For example, you have an issue with sex, and it's a shameful thing, especially in Africa, right? Because when you go to other countries, especially in Western countries, for them, they are starting to accept some things, okay? But here, things like sex is a taboo. We don't talk about it. So I feel like there's no acceptance. And once there's no that, there's no actively working on it. And so I feel like, and also we only started talking about mental health just the other day. Yeah. So people look at mental health as if it's just some small thing. So I feel like mostly what can happen is we can start by accepting and make it feel like it's normal, like what the counselor was saying here, mental health practitioner. We need to let people know that addiction is not just something that we are fun, we are just having it and it can go anytime. So it's upon us to show them it's a disease. And once we show them that, now they'll be able to understand this is a disease, it's not a taboo, and I can start working on it. Then moving forward, I feel like we should, maybe as mental health practitioners, we need to insist. We make sure we're in the government, we make sure in everywhere, every face we're there. We are literally telling people we need to work on our mental health. Because if we show people that mental health is unadeal na wenda wazimu, that's what people tell us. Unaenda kucancel ule, kwa nini mwenda? What's wrong with them, So once we show them mental health is wide and it doesn't have to be mwenda. In fact, maybe mental health practitioner will tell you, but we don't deal with wenda wazimu. Because they'll have to go to the psychiatrist first, get meds, then we come talk to them when they're sober. When they're okay, because you can't talk to someone who's experiencing bipolar mpaka uko juu, right? Or schizophrenia. They have to take that med and they're okay, that's when we are able to see them. So what I can say is we need to show people mental health is actually a thing. And like we are thinking of diabetes and we're running to the doctor, we should take mental health seriously. Yes.
All right. And actually that reminds me a line I read, a book by Mark Manson, and he was talking about happiness comes from solving problems. And there were two types that he described, that is denial and victim mentality. I know Veronica can be able to shed more light about that. I don't know, Veronica, if you have anything to add about that, how denial, and affects people. And of course, as Carol said about denial, especially when you talk about happiness, if you are not okay at your workplace, you won't be productivity at all. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, let me start by tackling the mention of the word denial. Denial is just the part of you that tells you there is no problem. Okay, you can be in a situation, but then you have a part in you. Okay, there's things we call ego defense mechanisms. And the ego defense mechanisms are in place to protect your ego. I'll not go into details about what the ego is, but the denial is a part of the ego defense mechanisms, and denial is there to give your body a moment to adjust. For example, if somebody comes and tells you so-and-so is dead, your ego is going to react by denying for a moment so that your body can be able to absorb that information. Now, sometimes denial becomes maladaptive, when it now extends to refusing to accept realities that are on board. Let me give an example and connect it with the workplace and addiction. Somebody is under a lot of stress at work, but they want to prove to the human resource manager or even the organization that they can perform. So they push themselves beyond, limit. And as they are pushing themselves, they're taking a toll on their mental health. So what does that drive them to doing? Because now they've pushed themselves, some of them are becoming workaholics. Workaholism is an addiction, by the way. So some of them are becoming workaholics. So they're working even beyond what their bodies can take in. As a result, because of that denial, they ended up getting into an addiction of some sort. And victim mentality is the state by which a person always feels like things are happening to them because it is them. You know, I'm always the victim. When things happen, I also apply denial. I don't want to look at my part in the situation. I'm always feeling like watu wananionea. Is the word, kunionea. So kila kitu inanionea. That is a victim mentality. Yes, and it can also affect a lot in the workplace. Because, come on, if every time mnafanya kazi na mtu mwenye anashindaga akiona mnamuonea, kila kitu mnamwambia mnamuonea, kazi mkimopea mnamuonea, yeye ndio mnampea kazi mingi, you know, that can also affect the workplace. Yes.
And actually that will bring chaos. All right, so I think with that, again, we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we shall continue with our conversation right here, so stay tuned for that. And I know our, guests have a lot to talk about when we come back. That is, how can we cover these, addiction and have a conversation from the bosses to the workers. And it's a very interesting conversation that we are having here today about addiction, and today we are celebrating Labor Day. I know, it's going to be a holiday. Everyone is at home enjoying. So stay tuned for that. When we come back, we shall have more conversation.
Yo, what's up, my guys? Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and CAPUCHIN TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with a youth program called
Form ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can while I care for my people.
Modeling,
oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at CAPUCHIN TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on CAPUCHIN TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
CAPUCHIN actually is contributing so effectively to the evangelization in the Kenyan church. Remember, on Good Friday we were together the whole journey. Remember, the whole journey of the way of the cross, they were together, they were covering, and even on Holy Thursday they were still with us. Let us support it because we need it. The media people, other media people are so secular. They cover mostly the secular informations, but the CAPUCHIN TV will cover the religious, messages, the gospel, the teachings of the church. So for me, I would encourage each one of you, let us give them moral support, material support, and encouragement so that they will continue to contribute in the evangelization in the church, in the Kenyan church, not even the Kenyan church. Many people who are outside the country, even in America and Europe, they watch CAPUCHIN TV. Even through the YouTube and Facebook, they watch, and so they are doing a wonderful job. CAPUCHIN TV, hongera sana.
Tumetoka mbali, bado tuko mbali, na tunaenda wapi? Mbali.
Endelea kutazama CAPUCHIN TV, huduma Katoliki ya uinjilishaji.
Yo, what's up, my guys? Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and CAPUCHIN TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with a youth program called
Form ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can while I care for my people.
Modeling,
Oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at CAPUCHIN TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on CAPUCHIN TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
and I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ. Hello dear viewer, welcome back to our conversation right here from New Faith Show with me, Maureen Kimani, and my co-host Maggie Maina, as we continue to delve into this conversation about addiction and how it affects productivity in corporate and of course in our country here in Kenya. And Maggie, first of all,
Maureen.
welcome back.
Thank you, Maureen.
Yeah, and to our guest here today, Karibuni Sana. Welcome back to the second part of the show. And in case you are joining us for the second part and for the first time, we have Veronica Maweu, we have Andilo, and we have Carol. Thank you very much for staying tuned to this conversation. Welcome back to the conversation as we shed more light. And as before we had gone for the break, I talked about when we come back to this second part, we're going to have a discussion on how, you know, we can work hand in hand together as, you know, sister, brothers and sisters, we say, in Christ, and help one another to curb this addiction. If maybe one needs to go and see a mental health practitioner or even a counselor, we can also do that. So Maggie, please take us through.
Yeah, I'll just start with Veronica, our mental health practitioner. And actually I have two questions, yeah? The first will be, where do we draw the line between social addictions and addictions? For instance, you stated that sometimes, you know, some co-workers, they tend to, you know, funga the weekend with some Friday vibes, yeah? And then in the process, someone gets addicted, yeah? But then you see, this someone who's getting addicted will defend themselves and say, I'm a social drinker, or I'm an occasional drinker. So how do you get to know that this occasional or social drinking has actually turned into an addiction, and not just drinking only, any other addiction basically, yeah?
Thank you very much, Maggie. That's a very good question. Addiction is a disease that occurs with a prognosis. A pathogenesis. It occurs in stages. You know, it just doesn't happen at once. So when we talk about a social addiction, we don't have a social addiction. That is just a stage in addiction. We have a social user. But when we get to the addiction, it is a disease. So there is a period when a person can be using a substance, but they're not yet addicted. There is a period when a person can be engaging in a mood-altering behavior, but they're not addicted. But then there is a stage that comes that now we cross from the using or the social using, the social indulgence into the addiction, which is now the disease, which is now comes with the symptoms of, you know, they have the withdrawals, they have the inability to perform, you know, there now comes all these other constraints that occur as a result of the disease. So we have a period when a person is using, they're not addicted. We have a period when now it crosses over. And if you can recall, Carol did mention something one of the predispositions into addiction, which is genetic predisposition.
Yes.
So again, those factors that contribute to addiction play a very significant role. We can be, me and you are colleagues, we go out on weekends and do our thing, but there are factors predisposing me into addiction which you do not have. So you can continue being a social user, it never catches up with you. But me, I can get in there, I start using my wake and bake for a few months, and down the line, I'm telling you, I can see angels flying, you know. So we have that period when it becomes an addiction, which is a disease, and we have a social user.
Yes. Thank you so much. The other question would be, we see that companies, unfortunately, tend to lay off or let go of employees who seem to be addicted. Is there a way that companies can actually step up and help the addicted employees other than letting them go?
Yes. Now, this falls in the human resource docket of the organization. Unfortunately, it's not all companies and organizations have human resource departments. But in the human resource department, they have several tasks that enable them to uplift the human capital that is on the organization. So one of the things that is happening nowadays is we can see some insurances are taking up addiction. You know, they can support addiction treatment. That used to be a challenge, because you see now a company, you have maybe an insurance policy that's not covering addiction. So the company is again not going to go back to its pocket and pay for your treatment. But now we have a glimmer of hope, because most insurances are coming up and they are, you know, supporting addiction treatment. And organizations are also human resources changing. Allow me to mention this. Human resources changing into a more human-centric face. This means that we are looking at employees as very important parts of the organizational growth. So this will mean that even if people are addicted, there is a way in which they are being helped. Yes, formerly they used to be laid off. You know, you're not there, you're not performing. We can't see you bringing growth into the company, so you're not useful. But currently, there is a more different approach. There is coaching. There is something nowadays called staff coaching, which is also helping these staff, whatever it is they are battling underground, like they said, there are some silent addictions. Whatever it is that they are battling underground, which they couldn't bring to the admin, they couldn't bring to the other, you know, whoever, then we have coaching that is also existing, which companies are taking over. So currently, a lot of companies have reduced laying off staff because of addictions. We have other solutions. And allow me to mention this. Any person who has a company organization and wants to see the organization grow, please invite us. We come and do mental health talks. It is going to give your employees knowledge on where do we seek help, when do we seek, at what stage. Remember the question you asked me, at what stage do we seek help, so that tusifike ile point yenye sasa we are no longer helpful. Yes, thank you.
Wow, that's a great answer, Maureen, right?
Yeah, sure. And I think, Paul, you can be able maybe to explain to us, because I know you have had friends, as you mentioned, the scenario that you gave us. What are some of the signs and symptoms? How can you tell this person is addicted? Because I know so many youths are very good in hiding, you know, their feelings and emotion. Actually, some people tend to make a joke and say, only my pillow knows how I feel. Because once you go to bed, you know, you cry at night, you're battling with something. How can people, you know, actually try and observe the other person just to know if they're okay or they're not okay?
Yeah, right now it's a really difficult way to see how people, other people who are addicted and those not, because we have social media. It has filters, it has good things. You can smile to the camera, you know, all those things. But we need to be, as she said, awareness. We need to learn to okay, let me put it this way. We need to take mental health issues very seriously. And we should start teaching people wakiwa wadogo, ndio ukipanda polepole uanze kulearn about some things, how to know someone is addicted, someone is not addicted. Okay, to your answer. So one of the signs of someone who is addicted is they're not taking care of themselves. you enter in that house and you're like goodness, ilioshwa lini. Unaingia pale unaona vyombo zake ziko chafu, nguo zake ziko chafu, the bed is not made and all that. Yeah, something else is they are isolating themselves. Yeah, mko kwa mahali, mko maybe party, or someone is not. It's not talking to the other people. It's
not feeling the vibe.
Yeah, amekaa tuko peke yake and all that. Something else is they are not responsible enough. They are not accountable. As she talked about victimhood, you keep on blaming other people. You keep on blaming I don't know, my teacher, my lecturer, my what. Tu kazi yako tu kusemanga watu wengine. So that's another side of someone is actually not having a good time with the drugs or maybe the addictions they are into.
Yeah.
So those are some of the clear things you can see. And also something else, we need to listen to people.
Sure.
We need to listen to people without stigmatizing them. Like, just sit down there and listen to that person. Acha kuongea. Acha kushinda ukiongea vitu mingi. These people just need to be listened. Wewe unakuja na solutions zako za kufix. You cannot fix anything. You just listen to that person. You can learn a lot from people. People have interesting things. They have interesting struggles. And you can save someone from just listening to them.
Yeah.
You listen to them, yeah.
All right, that's a very good one. And how about to you, Carol, in your area of expertise? Have you ever had a scenario where maybe someone came to you and I had this discussion to you that, they were addicted? How have you ever solved that problem as a counselor? Or what do you think other counselors and peers should do?
Like what Paul has said, but I'll add more. You see, it's very key to be very observant, and when you're not observant, you'll not understand someone has changed to this and then to the other, right? One of the key things that you need to understand in any addiction, there's depression, because you feel bad about yourself. You feel, why am I doing this? And why am I always going down, As much as there's that high, people think you take alcohol, you take marijuana, that is, marijuana, or what people are calling it, bangi. And people feel like you're just going to be high. But after some time, after taking it for a long time, you get depression, surprisingly. So there's that. There are chances are very high that person will also have suicidal thoughts, right? And when they have suicidal thoughts, they will not tell you, they have knives and they show you, I'm killing myself, no. But you will just hear slowly the comments they are putting out there. They'll tell you, me penye imefika kuna ja kukufa, kuna ja kuishi, wacha tu nikufe. It looks like it's just a comment, but be careful what they're saying, okay? So those small things, as a counselor, as a mental practitioner, as a family member, those are the things that we listen to. And you dig deeper. When did it start? Now, you take time with the client, and don't come up with solutions, as Paul was saying. Just listen to them and get to understand. When did you start feeling that way? You'll find out it's just something that has been from back then. Maybe childhood trauma that has never been resolved. Maybe they've been sexually assaulted. Maybe they've been looked down upon for so long at work, and they're being shown whatever they're doing, it's not making sense. So those things, when you go deeper and understand where they're coming from, then let them know it's okay to feel that way. Share with me, and now let's find a solution. What do you think we can do? Me, I want to change my workplace. Maybe I want to be transferred to another area. This area did this and this. I'll give an example. I knew a client, I won't mention the name because of confidentiality. I knew of a client where they were infected with HIV by their partner. And when they shared with a friend at work, it spread everywhere where they were working. And so it was traumatizing for her to come to work because everyone was talking about her. So she ended up drinking. She had a lot, marriage issues and all that. But when she came for treatment for 3 months, that was rehabilitation, we realized the problem is family, marriage. Everyone is blaming, expecting so much, and no one is understanding what she's going through. So things like those, you always find that this person is not drinking because it's just fun. there's something underlying always. So that's how you come up. And what I can tell you is, as practitioners, we need to go to like places that we never think we can talk about these things as a mental practitioner or as a counselor. We should go to churches, we should go to schools, we should go to everywhere we think that we need to be there. And as counselors, I know we need the money. We need to be financed, and that's where some of us, we're getting our life, our basic needs and all that. But sometimes it's beyond the money, you know. So we need to take ourselves there, talk to people, even in the streets, the places that we feel like, you know, we should not just focus on work and all that. For workplaces, we need to bring counselors there. There are the organizations that have their own counselors. So have the counselors, not seasonally. Let us have counselors there ready. Because if you see organizations that have their counselors there already, now they're able to note this person has a problem. They talk to them first, talk to them continuously. If they find it's difficult, now they send them to a rehab with the follow-up of their own counselor organization, okay? So that's what I can say.
All right. Thank you very much, Caro, for that. And I think that brings me, actually, when I was listening to her talking about all of that, when she mentioned about family, actually, Veronica, I think you can be able maybe to explain to us about this question that I'm going to ask you. Because I know family plays a very big role even to oneself, because we all come from a family, by the way. Because sometimes you may find that you have a parent who is addicted at home, and sometimes you're working and you get a phone call, maybe your mom is calling, or your brother, your cousin is calling you, and they tell you maybe, you know what, that has been beating us, you know, over the night, we haven't even slept and all that. Sometimes you get distracted at work. How can people like this get help to ensure that they have a conversation and they can trust someone? Like, you know, Caro talked about that scenario where one of the friend, you know, shared with the colleague, and then, you know, the following day, the word was spread, you know, everybody knew about the situation or whatever she was suffering from. How can we go about this, Veronica?
Yeah, thank you very much, Maureen. Now, Carol did mention the importance of having professionals on board. We are all specialized in different areas, and when it comes to mental health specialists, they have been trained to understand how to deal with such matters, you know, whether they're the ones who are going to undertake the treatment process. We talk about treatment is not only about medicine, even psychotherapy is treatment. So if they're the ones who are going to take the person through the treatment, or they're going to do what we call referral, okay? So when a person definitely has family issues, like you mentioned, a person can be coming from not only even a parent, even a spouse, you know? If my husband is drinking the whole night, he's beating me up, and tomorrow I need to go to work and I need to sit behind a desk and a customer is coming in, you know, I'm bruised at heart, you know, I'm suffering inside. So if there is nobody who I can talk to in that organization, somehow, some way, it's going to boil up to my customers or to the customers who I'm serving. So yes, organizations need to be in contact with professionals. We have counselors, we have psychologists, we have psychiatrists, you know, we have all those mental health practitioners who can actually be contacted by organizations. So this could be that the organization has their own inside, or they're working in partnership, you know, like most of these big organizations and government entities, parastatals, they always have a referral point. Like they will send their staff, go to, you know, this and this place. You know, as Christians, I love our Savior, you know, Jesus. Jesus never hated the sinner. Isn't it? The Bible tells us that very clearly, that Jesus embraced the sinner. Actually, that's the reason why he came, isn't it? So when we look at people who are in addiction, because most of the time we look at them as watu wa tabia mbaya, watu wanafanya vitu mbaya, you know, when we look at them with those condemning eyes, they go away. They don't talk, they don't open up, they don't feel like part. But when we realize that we are not, you know, if my brother here is drinking, if Ndilo is drinking, I am not supposed to be hating Ndilo. I'm supposed to be having a problem with disease.
Yeah.
So I also want to encourage viewers, always know what is the battle. Jesus knew what the battle was. The battle was against sin. It was not against the human being. Even us, what is the battle? The battle is against the addiction, not against the person who is indulging in the addiction. So once we start looking at it from that perspective, even organizations, once they start realizing that the battle is not with this employee who is drinking, it is with the drinking. It is not with this employee who is always on the phone. It is with that behavior that then we fight the right battle. Yes.
Wow. Beautiful. Yes. Maggie, what do you have to say? Because I know our time is almost up.
Yeah, I would just love to bring it a little bit home, a little bit more home, and just ask how can co-workers give this one employee who is an addict of maybe a particular issue, a particular problem, how can these co-workers give this one employee a safe space? That is to you, Veronica.
First of all, let us support the culture of positive criticism. When we are working as employees, because I always don't know who I am. Sometimes I need your eyes to know how I'm presenting myself. So when we allow the culture of positive criticism, as my habit is starting to change, as she said, it doesn't just happen once. Habits zitabadilika. So if I allow people to start telling me, hey, nowadays, Vero, you're coming late.
Yeah.
Monday you came late, Tuesday, you know. So I will start also observing myself and I'm like, yes, something is changing. So let's embrace that. And let us also, again, as I said, know what the battle is. We are colleagues, let's say. Let us know that we are not battling this person. We are battling the problem that is behind this person. So we will start asking even the person, how can we help you? You know, and also always, as she said, don't keep covering up for the person who is delaying with assignments. You're thinking you're helping them, but in addiction we call that what? You're an enabler. Yes. So instead of solving the problem, you're actually destroying it. Yeah? You're making it worse. So again, don't keep covering up for your colleague who is delaying with the assignments. Let us also sit them down and pinpoint these things. You know, and when worse comes to worse, let us also understand that we are not reporting, we are seeking help on their behalf. You know, my colleague so and so, we've really struggled, but we understand he has a problem. So if it's the manager we are telling, or whoever it is that we are answerable to, supervisor, we are telling, we're not telling on him. We are telling to find a solution together. And also make it team building. Let organizations invest in team building. Places where people can actually go and talk and feel free. You know, hii hierarchy inakuanga kwa organizations saa zingine huwa inafanya watu wanafichilia mambo mengi. Yes, so let's also cultivate a culture where employees feel free to talk, to share. Mental health, by the way, you can only understand if people are suffering when you provide an avenue for talk therapy. Yeah, but kama hakuna hiyo, yes, that's my answer.
All right. I assume that was your parting shot, Veronica. Maybe you'll give to our viewers maybe how, if they would love to get in touch to you and get your services, maybe how can they do that? Do you have a phone number, or how can they reach out to you?
Yes, first of all, I run an organization called Foundation for Youth Against Drug Use. So you can go on Facebook, look for Foundation for Youth Against Drug Use. You can also reach me up on my WhatsApp, that is 0731 31 34 31, 0731 31 34 31, or you can come through CAPUCHIN TV. I'm mostly always here for Health Corner Show, and we can be able to help each other. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Paul, what do you have to say as we wind up?
Yeah, sure. Wamoto niongee ule mtu amekalia tu meza saizi akoko juu ya kiti anakunywa kitu yake juu ni Labor Day. So how is that alcohol helping you? How is that weed helping you? Just think about it. How would that help you 10 years from now? How would that be helpful to you when you have a family? When you have I'm talking to a young person there. When you have children, like 3 children, you have a wife umekuja kuwa drunk. How is that helpful to you? Just think about it. Kuna this culture in Nairobi ya sherehe. Friday ikifika, viatu umeziweka hivi tu, wewe kuvalia tukitoka. Wewe saizi unachocho na watu, mnaenda sherehe, mkuku juu ya magari, basi wa Subaru, sijui wote, mkuku mnachochana. Lakini maybe 10 years time, 20 years time, you'll be battling liver cirrhosis alone. Imagine hao mabeshte wako unapiga sherehe na wao. Watakuja in fact mazishi yako na wakumwagie pombe kwa jeneza yako. Is that. So think about it. Think about yourself. Sometimes just take a moment, meditate, and have a moment with yourself. Call yourself a meeting, and evaluate your goals and what you're doing actually. Yeah. So you can get me from Paul's Power Pie on YouTube. And apparently subscribe. Just subscribe right now. Subscribe. Thank you. So you can also get me on Instagram, Dilo. Thank you so much for calling me Dilo. I love that name.
Okay.
Dilo. Then Pacomias Paul on Facebook and Pacomias Paul on TikTok. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Andilo. We recognize that. And Caro, what do you have to say?
I'll just maybe psychoeducate so many of us that we actually do not know, even in our years of 40, 50, 60. Now, what people do not know is when you take alcohol, it has an effect of mental disorder, which is, apart from addiction, you can get bipolar. A mental disorder that you didn't have at all. You can get depression, okay? When you take marijuana for so long, sometimes you'll get depression as well as schizophrenia. Imagine you didn't have schizophrenia, now you have schizophrenia. You'll Google about it, get to know more about schizophrenia, hallucinations, delusions, and all that. So as you take these drugs, you know, when they are present in their social media, they show us how we can cope with things through a puff, through a very nice cup of sijui Guinness with kanyama na kaugali there. They don't tell us the effect. So it's upon you to dig deeper, go to rehabs, go to Chiromo. That's when you'll understand, hey, mental disorder si mchezo. And it's caused simply because you took a lot of alcohol. You get diabetes. Imagine diabetes and you didn't have at a very young age. So it's not about just getting high. There are effects. And so you need to know that. Don't be ignorant, so that when you get into that marijuana, you get high, get to understand schizophrenia is on the way, okay? As I finish my parting shot, I am in Instagram as Rising and Healing. That's where you can get me if you want my services. My number, my email is there. I also have TikTok, where you can find me at Caroline at 24. And you will get my email there, my number as well. And I can finish with my number, 0724 75 5300. 0724 75 5300. We are here. Usiumie kama tuko hapa kama counselors. Tulisoma so that we can help you guys. Na tuko na experience. So there's no shame in saying I have an issue. We also, as counselors, go for counseling. So it's that general, you know. And the more you find help, the more we solve this thing earlier. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think you forgot something else. You were supposed to say hello to someone before. Or you were joking? Maybe next time you'll be able to say hi. Maggie, as we wind up, what do you have to wrap up with?
I'm loving what Caro has said as she wrapped up. She said that even counselors go for counseling. And it reminds us of the phrase that priests commonly use, that even they themselves, in as much as they give confession, they also go for confession. Yeah. But anyway, my wrapping up memo will be that addiction robs productivity by consuming time and focus, but reclaiming control of it paves the way to a more fulfilling and a purposeful life. Avoid addictions, be safe wherever you are, be cautious. Keep it firmly faith, where we have conversations for the youth and by the youth.
All right, that brings us to the end, and let me say thank you to the people that has been behind the scene. That is Capuchin TV crew. We have Nanzi Onganga, we have Kelvin Zisa, we have Alan and Diva, we have Cyrus, we have Molama, and Fred Odhiambo and Mbone. Thank you very much to you guys, and thanks to all of you for making time and for having, sharing your knowledge, because I know Veronica loves quoting the Bible. my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And so thank you very much for sharing whatever you learned and whatever you're experiencing to our viewers, and they have been able to learn a lot. And please make sure that you share this conversation and knowledge you get to other people so that we can have a safe environment. My name is Maureen Kimani, and my co-host has been
Maggie Maina.
See you next time.
Yo, what's up, my guys? Yeah, Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and Capuchin TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with a youth program called
Form ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions. We have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents, like singing.
I do what I can, all I care for my people.
Modeling,
oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nitoe stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at Capuchin TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on Capuchin TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717 424 866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
Yesu